Hi, and welcome to Canvas Stadium, and we are inside the Markley Family Hall of Champions. Brian Roth, voice of the Rams, happy to be joined by Director of Athletics at Colorado State, Joe Parker. Joe, great to see you. Let's just get right to it. And I know a question that's on a lot of fans' minds is what's happened over the last week and a half with the Big Ten and the Pac-12. They have canceled all their non-conference competitions in the fall months. That obviously has a big impact on Colorado State with both home and away games. How are you guys managing with this change?
Yeah, Brian, it is good to see you. It's been a while since we've been in the same room together. It was a huge disappointment for us, particularly opportunities to play CU in so many games. Those rivalry games I think are important, particularly when they're in-state rivalries. They pump the passion into college athletics. So for us, we lost football opportunity and volleyball and soccer to play CU. So disappointing. I stressed that last week when the news came out. Still feel that way. But with what we're faced with, people are making decisions and acting, I think, really in their own self-interest. But I also know that, Rick George, we had a lot of conversations, and he was an advocate and fought in the room of the athletic directors within the Pac-12. He was advocating for a conference schedule +1 for the Pac-12 and just couldn't get that over the goal line or get the ball in the hoop for that one.
I know a couple of the reasons that were shared for the cancellation of non-conference athletics for those two conferences was give them schedule flexibility, and also they wanted to ensure sufficient safety and health protocols for their institutions and student athletes. What's your reaction when you hear that?
I can agree with the first one, as we're kind of trying to manage our way through uncertainty of fall. I can see that they want to create the greatest amount of flexibility, both the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, to maintain their conference schedules. So in particular with football, when you open up a few weekends where you would have been playing non-conference games, it allows you, if a team can't go, to slot, another opportunity in that space. When it comes to the question of COVID testing and just the protocols and how we're going to manage the health and safety for our student athletes, I can't agree with it if that's a rationale or a reason. We're a part of a Tier 1 research institution here at CSU. We have adopted every one of the best practices that surfaced through national discussion on how we're going to manage the health and safety of our student athletes. We have incredible partners here at CSU with UC Health, Orthopedic and Spine Center of the Rockies as our primary care physicians, and then our own CSU Health Network. And all of those great resources are at the disposal of our athletics department, and we put great programming in place, and we're executing at a level just like anyone else in the United States as it relates to trying to manage this for the health and care of our student athletes.
All right, Joe, well, in light of the conversation we're having with the Pac-12, again, canceling those non-conference games, how about Colorado State? Will you guys reschedule games to fill those voids?
Right now, our intent is probably not to do that. I'm kind of following conversations around the country to see if there may be some opportunities to fill those gaps. But right now, it's tough. I mean, no one's aggressively pursuing those opportunities necessarily. But, it's always important for us to understand where the national landscape is and listen carefully and reach out if we think there's opportunities.
All right, well, there's a speculation out there that a school like Colorado State, you lose games with Pac-12 institutions, possibly an SEC institution. Rams supposed to go to Vanderbilt this year, that losing those games would have a devastating financial impact on Colorado State. Is that true, and can you go deeper into that?
I mean, it was a huge disappointment and certainly revenue implications to the loss of the CU game. We were looking at that in a non-COVID environment. We would have had a really special experience for our fans and our team to host CU here in Fort Collins for the first time in well over 25 years. But a lot of schools were impacted when they lost games that were referred to as guaranteed games, where they're expecting to be paid for the opportunity for their team to show up and appear and play. But in our case, that wasn't the case with CU, and it wasn't the case with Oregon State. Oregon State was the back end of a home and home. We played that game, if you all remember. That was our inaugural game in Canvas Stadium, which was a win for us and a great game. And then the CU game was a part of that multi-year contract that was neutral site games in Denver, with the game played here. So actually it swung to the positive for us because we had a guarantee that we were going to owe CU for the game here, and don't plan to pay that. So check's not going to Boulder.
That's right. All right. Well, let's talk about season ticket partners and specifically for football and volleyball. Obviously, with what we've been discussing here, there have been some home games lost. How does that impact season ticket partners at Colorado State?
Yeah, so we've given a lot of thought to that. We put, I think, the appropriate level of planning, and we're pretty close to starting our communication to our fans on that. And there will be, adjustments made to season ticket holders for the loss of those opportunities. I mean, those were key games on our schedule, so we'll create some flexibility for them to seek opportunities to keep those dollars here at the department, or request possibly refunds on those.
In conversations with you, Joe, I know you guys have talked about customizable account management. Can you explain a little deeper into what that is? And does that mean that the athletic department will be reaching out to season ticket partners individually?
That's right, yeah. So I think it's going to be kind of a labor-intensive activity for us, but the cohort of season ticket holders, those are our most important patrons. We want to make sure that we layer in the appropriate level of communication and customer care for them. So the team has been thinking about a customized account management plan, which would be initially email communications, but then an outreach to each of them individually to have a conversation about what they want to do, how they want to manage their accounts as it relates to season tickets and the remaining games that we have, either in volleyball or football.
All right, Joe, well, with the fall fast approaching, let's talk a little bit about what season ticket partners can expect at both right here at Canvas Stadium and at Moby Arena this year.
We've been working very collaboratively over the last several months. We actually pulled a little consortium together of the Division I schools that play football here in our state. So that would be Air Force, CU, UNC, and ourselves, and have developed what we refer to as kind of our best practices for how we'll operate our venues to keep our fans as safe as possible. And really the first thing that fans need to understand is that we'll have limited capacity. Because then that allows us to do physical distancing. So as we are today, we're going to distance people in the stadium. And as we look at our stakeholder groups, player guest tickets are important. We want to make sure that families get a chance to watch their young students play. Season ticket holders are a very important stakeholder group to us. So we want to honor as much as we can the opportunity for season ticket holders to watch our games. We'll provide opportunities for our students because they in effect are season tickets as well, season ticket holders as well. We'll have to probably limit the allotment for our students, and then we'll provide a small exchange for a visiting team allotment. But that will limit the capacity of the stadium, allow us to physical distance. And then as we think about other things, masks, there was a mandate from Governor Polis from the state that we're to wear masks. To me, that's a small self-sacrifice to make to hopefully put us in the best environment to safely watch football games. So that will be the expectation, that people are required to wear masks at games. And then we've worked with all of our internal partners who help us execute game days. So that would be Landmark, that helps us with our event management. They're helping us plan the flow of people in and out of the venue and on our concourses. And then Spectra is our concession partner, and they're working to help us manage, that amenity that people expect to be able to do food service. And then we've announced this already, but we have mobile tickets and parking. So that will transition from a paper ticket to put your access to the stadium in barcode format on your mobile phone. So those are all ways that we're using to mitigate, any risk of viral spread during game day.
All right, Joe, well, final thought. I mean, a lot of moving parts here. We've talked a lot about the game day details. When do you officially roll out those details, and when will your staff be reaching out to season ticket partners?
Yeah, Brian, we're close. So it'll be a multifaceted communication plan. It'll begin with emails that share details of the plan, and then there's going to be follow-up, as we mentioned before, that customer account management process, where that'll be a personal phone call from a CSU athletic staff member to our season ticket holder to kind of walk them through all the options that are before them and then they can choose what's in the best interest of their situation, and hopefully they keep CSU at the forefront of their minds as they consider those options. So it's important that we keep support in place. We're an athletic department that services 380 student athletes, and we need to make sure we're creating the best environment possible, and that requires resources.
All right, Joe, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.